Jake Morrison felt cold, very cold. His eyes opened slowly. White light filled his vision. He tried to move, but his body felt heavy and strange. Where was he? The memories came back slowly. The ship, the long sleep, the mission to find a new world, for humans to live on. He was supposed to sleep for 50 years. Then the ship would wake him up when they reached their destination. Something was wrong. Jake sat up in the cryopod. His muscles ached. His throat was dry. The medical bay around him looked old and dirty. Dust covered everything. Some of the lights were broken. This was not how things should look after 50 years. "Arya," he called out. His voice was rough and weak. "Arya, report." A blue light appeared in front of him. The ship's computer had a female voice. She always sounded calm and helpful, but now she sounded different, sad, maybe. "Hello, Captain Morrison," Arya said. "I am sorry to tell you this. You have been asleep for much longer than planned." Jake's heart began to beat faster. How much longer? 800 years, Captain. The words hit Jake like a punch to the stomach. 800 years. That was impossible. What happened? Where are we? There was a problem with the navigation system, Arya explained. The ship went off course. We drifted through space for centuries. I tried to fix the problem, but I could not wake you safely until now. Jake stood up on shaky legs. He walked to the nearest window and looked out into space. Strange stars filled the darkness. He had never seen these stars before. They were not the stars near Earth. They were not the stars near their destination either. "Arya, where is Earth? Can you contact home?" "I am sorry, Captain. Earth stopped sending signals 300 years ago. I do not know what happened to our home world." Jake felt like someone had ripped his heart out. Earth was gone. His family, his friends, everyone he had ever known. They were all dead. They had been dead for hundreds of years. "Captain," Arya said softly, "there is something else you need to know." "What?" "We are not alone out here. The galaxy is full of life now. Many different alien species control space. They call themselves the hegemony. They think humans are extinct." Jake looked at his reflection in the window. He was the same man who had gone to sleep 800 years ago. But everything else had changed. The whole galaxy had changed. "Show me," he said. Arya brought up images on the wall screens. Jake saw alien ships, strange creatures with scales, tentacles, and crystal bodies, cities on distant worlds, massive space stations. The aliens had built an empire across the stars. "They are powerful, Captain," Arya said. "They have weapons and technology that we do not understand. If they find us, they will capture you. To them, you are just a museum piece, the last human." Jake felt anger building inside him. He was not a museum piece. He was not some animal to be put in a cage. He was human, and humans did not give up. "Captain," Arya said urgently, "I am detecting ships approaching our position. 3 vessels. They will be here in 1 hour." Jake looked at the alien ships on the screen. They were sleek and beautiful. Their weapons glowed with strange energy. Each ship was twice the size of his own vessel. "What do they want?" Jake asked. "I intercepted their communications. They detected our ship's energy signature. They think we are a derelict vessel from the old human empire. They are coming to salvage us." Jake walked to his quarters and put on his uniform. It still fit perfectly. The blue fabric was faded but clean. On his chest was the patch of the Earth Defense Force, a planet Earth surrounded by stars. It reminded him of home, of everything he had lost. But Jake Morrison was not the type of man who gave up easily. That was why they had chosen him for this mission. He had led soldiers in 3 wars. He had survived when others died. He had always found a way to win against impossible odds. Now he was alone against an entire galaxy of aliens. But he was still human. and humans were the most dangerous creatures in the universe when they had nothing left to lose. Jake went to the weapons storage room. Most of the military equipment was still there. Rifles, pistols, grenades, body armor. The humans who built this ship had prepared for anything. They knew space could be dangerous. Arya, can you scan the approaching ships? Tell me about their weapons and defenses. Yes, Captain. They use energy shields and plasma weapons. Very advanced. But Captain, our weapons are 800 years old. They will not be effective against modern alien technology. Jake smiled for the first time since waking up. Arya, you still don't understand humans very well. We don't need the best weapons. We just need to be smarter than our enemies. He picked up a rifle and checked its power cell. Still working. He strapped on body armor and filled his pockets with ammunition. Then he went to the engineering section and began pulling apart spare parts. What are you doing, Captain? Getting ready for visitors, Jake said. His hands moved quickly, building something from broken electronics and chemical supplies. These aliens think humans are extinct. They think we are weak and primitive. They are about to learn that humans became the top predator on Earth for a very good reason. The alien ships were getting closer. Their energy signatures grew stronger on Arya's sensors. Soon, they would dock with his ship. They would board his vessel expecting to find old technology and dead humans. Instead, they would find Jake Morrison, the last human in the galaxy, a man with 800 years of anger in his heart and nothing left to lose. Jake finished his improvised weapon and smiled. It was not pretty, but it would work. Humans had always been good at making weapons from whatever they could find. It was one of the things that made them special. Arya, when they board the ship, turn off the lights in sections 2 through 5, and play some music. Music, Captain. Something loud. Something with drums. These aliens are about to get their first lesson in human warfare. Outside, the alien ships moved closer through the darkness of space. Inside, Jake Morrison waited in the shadows. The frozen human had awakened, and nothing in the galaxy was going to stop him. The alien ship connected to Jake's vessel with a loud clang. Jake felt the vibration through the floor. He crouched behind a damaged console in the main corridor. His improvised weapon was ready. It was ugly, but deadly chemicals, mixed with metal fragments, triggered by an old medical scanner. Heavy footsteps echoed through the airlock. The aliens were coming aboard. Arya, lights out, Jake whispered. The corridor went dark. Emergency lights cast red shadows on the walls. Somewhere in the ship, Arya began playing music. Heavy drums and electric guitars filled the air. It was an old Earth song about war and fighting. Jake thought it was perfect. The first alien stepped into the corridor. It was tall and thin with gray skin and 4 arms. Its eyes glowed green in the darkness. This was a Valkyrie soldier. Jake had seen them in Arya's files about the hegemony. Behind the first alien came Timur. They carried weapons that hummed with energy. Blue light pulsed along the sides of their rifles. Their armor looked expensive and high-tech. They spoke to each other in clicking sounds. Jake did not understand their language, but he knew they were confused. They had expected an empty ship, dead humans, old technology they could steal. They had not expected. Jake Morrison, the lead alien, raised its weapon and scanned the corridor. The energy beam passed inches from Jake's hiding spot. He held his breath and waited. Humans were good at waiting, good at being patient. It was something predators learned. The aliens moved deeper into the ship. Their glowing eyes cut through the darkness like flashlights. They walked in a straight line, following military formation. Very organized, very predictable. Jake smiled. These aliens fought like machines. Humans fought like wild animals. When the aliens reached the center of the corridor, Jake threw his weapon. It was not meant to explode on impact. It was meant to break apart and spread chemicals through the air. The container shattered against the wall behind the aliens. Smoke filled the corridor. The aliens coughed and stumbled. Their energy shields protected them from weapons, but not from breathing poison gas. Jake had mixed cleaning chemicals with medical supplies. Simple but effective. Jake ran from his hiding spot. He tackled the nearest alien and knocked its weapon away. The creature was strong, but Jake was desperate. Desperate humans were dangerous humans. They rolled across the floor, fighting for control. The alien's forearms gave it an advantage, but Jake was heavier. He used his weight to pin the creature down. Then he grabbed a metal pipe from the broken console and hit the alien in the head. The creature stopped moving. The other two aliens were still coughing from the gas. Jake picked up the fallen energy rifle. He had never used alien technology before. But weapons were weapons. He pointed it at the nearest alien and pulled what looked like a trigger. Nothing happened. The alien saw Jake with the weapon and laughed. It said something in its clicking language, probably telling Jake that human hands could not operate Valkyrie weapons. Jake threw the rifle at the alien's face and ran. The aliens chased him through the ship. Jake knew every corridor, every room, every hiding place. This was his ship, his home. The aliens were invaders. Jake led them to the engineering section. He had prepared another surprise there. As the aliens entered the room, Jake activated the gravity controls. The artificial gravity increased to 3 times normal strength. The aliens fell to their knees. Their bones were not as strong as human bones. High gravity hurt them badly. Jake had spent years in space. His body was used to changing gravity. Jake walked up to the nearest alien. It looked up at him with fearful green eyes. Now it understood. Humans were not extinct. Humans were not weak. Humans were the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. "Arya, translate my words," Jake said. "Yes, Captain." Jake spoke slowly, so the alien could understand. "I am Jake Morrison. I am human. Tell your people that humans are back, and we remember everything you did to us." The alien tried to speak, but the high gravity made breathing difficult. Jake turned the gravity back to normal. The alien gasped for air. "What is your name?" Jake asked. "Crystal," the alien said in broken English. "I am engineer, not soldier." Jake looked at Crystal more carefully. This alien was smaller than the others. Its armor was different. It carried tools instead of weapons. "Why are you here, Crystal?" we thought. Ship was empty. Old human ship. Good technology to study. What happened to the humans? Where did they go? Crystal's eyes became darker. Hegemony took human worlds. Long time ago. Humans fought hard, but too many of us. Too few of them. Jake felt anger building in his chest. The aliens had destroyed his people, taken their worlds, killed his species. Are there any humans left? Some say yes. Hidden places. Far from hegemony space. But most think humans are extinct. Jake grabbed Crystal by the armor and lifted the alien off the ground. "I am not extinct. I am very much alive, and I am very angry." Jake tied up the surviving aliens with power cables. He took their weapons and communication devices. He needed to learn about the galaxy, about the hegemony, about his enemies. "Arya, scan their ship. What technology do they have?" "Very advanced, Captain. Their engines are faster than ours. Their shields are stronger. Their weapons are more powerful." Jake walked to the alien ship and looked inside. Everything was smooth and clean and perfect, like a museum. These aliens had grown soft, living in comfort for hundreds of years. Jake had been frozen for 8 centuries, but he was still a soldier, still a fighter. The aliens had forgotten what war really meant. "Crystal," Jake said, "you are going to help me." "Why would I help human?" "Because if you help me, I might let you live. If you do not help me, I will kill you slowly." Crystal looked into Jake's eyes and saw something that terrified him. He saw a predator, a human predator, who had nothing to lose and everything to fight for. What do you want to know? Everything. Where are the hegemony fleets? Where are their supply bases? Where are the hidden human colonies? Jake spent the next hour learning about his new galaxy. The hegemony controlled most of space. They had dozens of different alien species working together. They were rich and powerful and confident. They thought they were safe. Jake smiled as he listened to Crystal's information. The aliens had made one big mistake. They had gotten comfortable. They had forgotten that somewhere in the darkness, human survivors might still exist. They had forgotten that humans were not just another species. Humans were evolution's greatest mistake. A species that should have died out millions of years ago, but was too stubborn to quit. Arya, prepare the ship for departure. We are leaving this place. Where are we going, Captain? Jake looked at the star charts on the alien computer. Somewhere out there were human colonies. Hidden bases where his people still lived. He was going to find them, and then he was going to show the galaxy what happened when you tried to make humans extinct. We are going hunting, Arya. It is time these aliens remembered why humans became the most dangerous species on Earth. Jake. Morrison was awake. The last human in known space, and nothing in the galaxy was going to stop him from getting his revenge. 3 weeks had passed since Jake captured the alien ship. He had learned many things from Crystal and the alien computers. The galaxy was much bigger than he had imagined. The hegemony controlled thousands of worlds across hundreds of star systems. But Jake had also learned something important. The aliens were afraid. Reports were spreading through hegemony space about a ghost ship. A mysterious vessel that appeared without warning, attacked supply convoys, and disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. The aliens called it the Death Shadow. Jake called it Tuesday. He had modified his ship using alien technology. The engines were faster now. The weapons were stronger. The shields could stop most energy attacks. But the best improvement was the stealth system he had built from Valkyrie technology. Jake's ship could become invisible to alien sensors, like a predator hiding in tall grass, waiting for prey. Captain, Arya said, I am detecting a hegemony research station ahead. It appears to be studying something important. Jake looked at the scanner readings. The station was large, but not heavily defended. Only 2 guard ships patrolled the area. This would be easy. What kind of research, Arya? Unknown. But I am detecting human life signs aboard the station. Jake's heart began beating faster. Humans alive, after all these years. How many? 1 human, Captain. But the readings are strange. The human appears to be in some kind of containment. Jake's hands tightened into fists. The aliens were keeping a human prisoner, using his people for experiments. This made Jake angrier than anything else the hegemony had done. Prepare for attack, Arya. We are getting our person back. Jake moved his ship closer to the research station. The stealth system kept him hidden from the alien sensors. He watched the patrol ships fly their predictable routes around the station. The aliens followed the same pattern every time. No creativity. No imagination. Humans would have changed their patrol routes randomly. Humans understood that predictable patterns got you killed. Jake waited until both patrol ships were on the far side of the station. Then he dropped the stealth system and fired every weapon his ship had. The research station's shields flickered and failed under the surprise attack. Jake's missiles punched holes in the station's hull. Atmosphere and debris poured out into space. The patrol ships turned around and raced back toward the station. They fired their energy weapons at Jake's ship. The beams hit his shields and bounced away harmlessly. Jake had learned something important about alien weapons. They were designed to fight other aliens, not humans. Alien shields protected against energy weapons but were weak against physical projectiles. Human weapons used bullets and explosives. Simple, crude, Effective, Jake fired a barrage of old-fashioned missiles at the first patrol ship. The projectiles passed right through the alien shields like they were not there. The ship exploded in a ball of fire. The second patrol ship tried to retreat, but Jake was faster. His modified engines caught up to the alien vessel easily. Jake rammed his ship into the alien craft, using his stronger hull as a weapon. Both ships were damaged, but Jake's ship survived. The alien ship broke apart and drifted away into space. Jake docked with the research station and put on his combat armor. He carried 2 pistols, a rifle, and enough ammunition to fight a small war, which was exactly what he planned to do. The station's corridors were filled with emergency lights and alarm sounds. Alien researchers ran in panic as Jake moved through their facility like a storm of destruction. He found the human in a laboratory deep inside the station. She was a woman with dark hair and brown eyes. She wore a simple white medical gown and was connected to monitoring equipment. Her name tag read, Dr. Lisa Parker. Jake shot the locks off her containment cell and helped her sit up. She looked at him with confusion and hope. "Who are you?" she asked. "Jake Morrison, Earth Defense Force. I am here to get you out." Lisa's eyes filled with tears. "Earth Defense Force? But that was— How long have I been here? How long do you think? I was captured during the last battle for Mars. That was 43 years ago." Jake felt sick. This woman had been a prisoner for 43 years. The aliens had kept her alive for decades, studying her like a laboratory animal. "Lisa, I need you to listen carefully. The year is 2847. I have been in cryogenic sleep for 800 years. As far as I know, we might be the only humans left in this part of the galaxy." Lisa stared at him in shock. 800 years. Her whole world was gone. Everyone she had ever known was dead. But Jake saw something in her eyes that he recognized. The same thing he had felt when he first woke up. Anger, determination, the refusal to give up. "What have they been doing to you?" Jake asked. "Studying human biology, learning about our immune system, our brain chemistry, our genetic structure. They wanted to understand how humans could fight so effectively against superior numbers." Jake helped Lisa stand up. She was weak from years of captivity, but she was alive. That was what mattered. "Did you learn anything about them?" Lisa smiled for the first time. "Everything. I have been watching them for 43 years. I know their weaknesses." Jake and Lisa moved through the station, gathering research data and supplies. Lisa showed Jake the alien files about human colonies that might still exist in the outer rim of the galaxy. Hidden settlements that had escaped the hegemony's attention. "There," Lisa pointed to a star chart. "The Kepler 442 system. That was your original destination, right?" The colony ship New Hope reached that system 50 years before the war ended. If they survived, there could be thousands of humans there. Jake felt hope for the first time since waking up. Thousands of humans. His people were not extinct. They were hiding, waiting, surviving. But as they prepared to leave the station, alarms began sounding throughout the facility. Jake looked at the scanner displays and saw something that made his blood run cold. A hegemony battle fleet was approaching. 12 large warships and dozens of smaller vessels. More firepower than Jake had ever seen in one place. "Arya," Jake called over his communicator. "We have a problem." "I see them, Captain. Admiral Vexmore's Third Fleet. They must have detected our attack on the research station." Jake grabbed Lisa's hand and ran toward his ship. They had minutes before the fleet arrived. "Maybe less. Can we outrun them?" Jake asked as they reached the docking bay. "Not all of them," Arya replied. "But Captain, I have been analyzing the alien fleet formations. They fly in very predictable patterns. If we can disrupt their coordination, ... double quotes, Jake smiled. Arya was learning to think like a human. "What do you have in mind?" Their command ship controls the entire fleet through a central communication system. If we could damage that system, the whole fleet would be confused and disorganized, Jake finished. Like cutting the head off a snake. Jake and Lisa reached his ship just as the first alien vessels appeared in space around the research station. The hegemony fleet was enormous. Jake's single ship looked like a tiny insect next to the alien warships. But Jake Morrison had learned something important during his weeks of fighting the hegemony. Size did not matter. Technology did not matter. What mattered was who wanted to win more, and nobody in the galaxy wanted to win more than the last two humans in known space. Lisa, strap yourself in. Arya, take us toward the command ship. Captain, that is suicide. We cannot fight an entire fleet. We are not fighting a fleet, Arya. We are fighting one ship. The rest are just observers. Jake's ship shot forward, toward the massive alien command vessel. Energy beams filled the space around them as the entire hegemony fleet opened fire. But Jake's ship was small and fast and unpredictable. Human unpredictable. The aliens could not hit what they could not predict. And they could never predict what a desperate human would do next. Jake Morrison was about to teach the galaxy another lesson about humanity. Sometimes the smallest predator was the most dangerous one. Jake's ship twisted and turned through the space battle like a leaf in a hurricane. Energy beams from dozens of alien warships filled the darkness around them, but none of the shots hit their target. Jake flew his ship in patterns that made no sense to alien minds. Zigzag, loop, sudden stop, sharp turn, dive, climb, random movements that no computer could predict. This is impossible, Lisa said, gripping her seat as the ship spun through another impossible maneuver. How are you doing? I am not trying to make sense, Jake replied, sweat covering his face as he pushed his ship to its limits. I am trying to stay alive. The alien command ship grew larger on their screen. It was massive, 10 times the size of Jake's vessel. Its hull was covered with weapons and armor. But Jake had learned that big things moved slowly. Arya, prepare. The special payload? Ready, Captain? Jake had spent the last 3 weeks building something special. Not a weapon exactly, but something that would hurt the aliens in a different way. Lisa had helped him understand how alien communication systems worked. The hegemony fleet used a shared network to coordinate their attacks. All ships received orders from the command vessel. All tactical data flowed through central computers. It was very efficient when everything worked properly. But efficiency was also a weakness. Jake's ship suddenly stopped turning and dove straight toward the command ship. The alien gunners tried to track his movement, but Jake was moving too fast and too close to their own ship. They could not fire without hitting their own vessel. Collision course, Arya warned. Impact in 30 seconds. Not yet, Jake said. He waited until the last possible moment, then fired his engines at maximum power. The ship shot upward, skimming along the surface of the alien command vessel. As they passed over the ship's communication array, Jake released his special payload. It was not an explosive. It was something much worse. A computer virus. Lisa had helped him design it, using her knowledge of alien technology. The virus would spread through the hegemony's communication network like a disease. But instead of destroying the system, it would do something more subtle. It would make the aliens doubt their own sensors. The virus infected the command ships, computers, within seconds. Then it spread to every other ship in the fleet through their shared network. Suddenly, alien sensors began reporting conflicting information. One ship's computer said Jake's vessel was to the left. Another said it was to the right. A third said there were multiple human ships attacking from different directions. The aliens began firing at targets that were not there. Some ships accidentally shot at each other. The perfect coordination of the hegemony fleet collapsed into chaos. It is working, Lisa said, watching the alien ships on their scanner. They cannot tell where we really are. Jake smiled and turned his ship toward the fleet's formation. Time for the second part of his plan. He flew his ship into the middle of the alien fleet and began broadcasting on all hegemony frequencies. His message was simple, but effective. This is Jake Morrison of the Earth Defense Force. You tried to make humans extinct. You failed. We are still here. We remember what you did to our worlds, and we are coming for you. The message repeated in 12 different alien languages. Arya had learned them all from captured computers. But Jake was not finished. He had one more surprise for the hegemony. Lisa, tell them about the others. Lisa took the communicator with shaking hands. This is Dr. Lisa Parker. For 43 years, you have studied me like an animal in a cage. You wanted to know why humans fight so hard. I will tell you why. She paused, letting her words sink in across the fleet. We fight because we protect each other. We fight because we never surrender, and we fight because we are not alone. There are human colonies hidden throughout the galaxy. You think you destroyed us, but you only made us stronger. It was not entirely true. They did not know for certain that the hidden colonies still existed. But the aliens did not know that. The effect was immediate. Panic spread through the hegemony fleet faster than Jake's virus. The aliens had spent 300 years believing humans were extinct. Now they learned that their greatest enemy might still be alive, somewhere in the darkness. Jake used the confusion to escape. His ship slipped away from the fleet, while the aliens were still trying to understand what had happened. Arya set course for the Kepler 442 system. Course laid in, Captain. Travel time at maximum speed, 6 days. Jake sat back in his pilot seat and looked at Lisa. She was staring out the window at the stars with tears in her eyes. Do you really think they are still out there? She asked. The colonies, we will find out soon enough. The next 6 days passed slowly. Jake and Lisa used the time to plan and prepare. Lisa shared everything she had learned about the hegemony during her captivity. Jake taught her how to use human weapons and tactics. They made a good team. Jake was the soldier, trained to fight and lead. Lisa was the scientist, trained to think and analyze. Together, they began to understand how to hurt their enemies most effectively. The hegemony's biggest weakness is their unity, Lisa explained. They work together because they are afraid of being conquered, but they do not really trust each other. We can use that, Jake said. Turn them against each other. On the 6th day, they reached the Kepler 442 system. Jake's sensors immediately detected artificial structures orbiting the third planet, space stations, mining facilities, ships moving between the planet and its moons, and the energy signatures were human. Arya, are you getting this? Yes, Captain. Definitely human technology, but it has been modified with alien components. The colony survived and adapted. Jake felt joy flooding through his body. His people were alive. Not just alive, but thriving. But as they moved closer to the planet, warning signals began flashing on their control panel. Unknown vessel. This is new Terra Defense Control, a human voice said over the radio. You are entering restricted space. Identify yourself immediately, or we will open fire. Jake smiled. Even after 300 years of hiding, humans were still ready to fight. New Terra Control. This is Captain Jake Morrison, Earth Defense Force. I am requesting permission to land. There was a long silence. Then the voice came back, filled with amazement. Earth Defense Force. That is impossible. EDF was destroyed centuries ago. Not destroyed, Jake replied. Just sleeping. I am coming home. 20 minutes later, Jake's ship landed on a platform in New Terra's capital city. The city was built underground to hide it from alien sensors, but it was beautiful. Trees and gardens grew under artificial sunlight. Children played in parks. Between residential buildings, 50,000 humans had survived here. Not just survived, but built a new civilization. A group of people waited for Jake and Lisa at the landing platform. Their leader was a tall man with gray hair and scars on his face. He wore a military uniform with the rank of commander. "I am Alex Stone," the man said, "military commander of New Terra. Welcome home." Jake shook Alex's hand. "How long have you been waiting? For someone like you?" 300 years. "We never gave up hope that other humans survived somewhere in the galaxy." Alex led them through the underground city. Jake saw workshops where humans built hybrid technology using both human and alien designs. Training facilities where young people learned to fight. Schools where children studied alien languages and tactics. This was not just a hidden colony. This was a military base preparing for war. "We have been watching the galaxy through hidden sensors," Alex explained. "We know about the hegemony. We know what they did to Earth and Mars and the other colonies." "Why did you not fight back?" Lisa asked. Alex stopped walking and turned to face them. His eyes were hard and cold. "We have been fighting back. For 3 centuries, we have been preparing, training, building weapons, learning everything we can about our enemies." He pointed to a large screen showing a map of the galaxy. "We have contacted 12 other hidden human colonies, secret bases with thousands of our people, underground cities on forgotten worlds, mining stations in empty space." Jake stared at the screen in amazement. Red dots marked human settlements throughout the galaxy. There were not just thousands of humans alive, there were hundreds of thousands. "We were waiting for the right moment to reveal ourselves," Alex continued. And then reports started coming in about a ghost ship, a single human fighting the entire hegemony fleet. Alex smiled and put his hand on Jake's shoulder. "You gave us something we have been waiting for. You gave us hope. The galaxy thinks humans are extinct, but we are about to show them how wrong they are." Jake looked around at the faces of his people. 300 years of hiding. 300 years of preparation. 300 years of waiting for revenge. "Commander Stone," Jake said formally, "what are your orders?" Alex's smile became cold and dangerous. "We are going to war, Captain Morrison. And this time, we are going to win." The war began 3 months later. Jake stood on the bridge of the new human flagship Revenge, watching enemy ships fill the space around New Terra. The hegemony had found their hidden colony. Supreme Admiral Vorthok himself had come with the largest fleet in alien history. 2,000 ships. Every species in the hegemony was represented. This was not just a military attack. This was meant to be the final extinction of humanity. "Captain Morrison," Alex said from his command chair, "enemy fleet will be in weapons range in 10 minutes. Jake looked at the tactical display. The human defenders had only 50 ships. Old vessels that had been hidden for centuries, upgraded with captured alien technology. Against 2,000 enemy ships, it looked hopeless, but Jake was smiling. "Arya, are all our ships ready?" "Yes, Captain. All vessels report ready for Operation Ghost Storm." Jake had spent 3 months working with Alex and the other human commanders. They had developed new tactics based on everything Jake had learned. Fighting the hegemony, not conventional space battle tactics. Something the aliens had never seen before. Human tactics. "Lisa, are your surprises ready?" Dr. Lisa Parker sat at the science station, her hands dancing over alien control systems. She had spent decades studying hegemony technology. Now she was going to use that knowledge against them. "Virus packages ready, Jake. Once I release them into their network, their own systems will turn against them." The first alien ships entered. Weapons range. Energy beams lanced out from the hegemony fleet, lighting up space like a deadly fireworks display. The human ships scattered in all directions, refusing to fight in formation. To the aliens, it looked like panic, like humans running in fear. They were wrong. Jake's ship led a group of 10 vessels. In a wild charge straight at the enemy flagship, the aliens concentrated their fire on this obvious target. Hundreds of energy beams converged on Jake's position, but Jake was not there anymore. At the last second, his ship dove beneath the alien formation, while the other 9 ships scattered in different directions. The aliens had been shooting at empty space. While the enemy was distracted, 20 human ships attacked from behind, not with energy weapons, but with old-fashioned missiles and projectiles, physical weapons that passed right through alien shields. Explosions blossomed throughout the hegemony fleet. Ships that had seemed invulnerable suddenly found their hulls torn open by simple human explosives. "This is impossible," Supreme Admiral Vorthok said from his command ship. "How are they penetrating our defenses?" His tactical officer, a nervous Zephyrian named Keter, studied the scanner readings. "Sir, they are not using energy weapons. Their projectiles are primitive kinetic devices. Our shields are not designed to stop physical objects." Vorthok's 6 eyes turned dark with anger. "Then adjust our shield frequencies." "Sir, we cannot. Our ships were built to fight other energy-based civilizations. To modify our shields would take months of work." Jake listened to the alien communications through his captured translation devices. The hegemony was learning that their advanced technology had weaknesses. They had designed their weapons and defenses to fight other advanced civilizations. They had never prepared to fight humans. "Lisa, now," Jake ordered. Lisa released her computer viruses into the alien network. The programs spread through the hegemony fleet like wildfire. But these viruses did not destroy enemy systems. They did something worse. They made the aliens see things that were not there. Suddenly, alien sensors began reporting human ships in impossible locations. The hegemony fleet started shooting at phantom targets. Some ships accidentally fired on their own allies. But the real surprise came when the viruses reached the alien communication systems. Every screen in the hegemony fleet suddenly showed the same image, a map of the galaxy with red dots marking human settlements. Dozens of them, hidden colonies that had survived for centuries. "Greetings, hegemony," Alex's voice echoed through every alien ship. "You thought you had destroyed humanity. You were wrong. We never left. We have been here all along, watching you, learning from you, preparing for this moment." Panic spread through the alien fleet faster than any virus. The hegemony had believed they were fighting the last few humans in the galaxy. Now they realized they faced an enemy that had been preparing for war for 300 years. Jake used the confusion to lead his ships in a devastating attack on the enemy command vessel. His modified ship tore through the alien formation like a bullet through paper. "Arya, prepare the special package." "Ready, Captain?" Jake had saved his best surprise for last. As his ship approached Vorthok's flagship, he launched a single missile, not filled with explosives, but with something much more dangerous. Recorded messages from every human colony in the galaxy. The missile penetrated the alien ship's hull and released its cargo directly into their computer systems. Suddenly, every screen on the enemy flagship showed human faces. Men, women, and children from dozens of different worlds. All of them with the same message. "We are still here. We remember what you did to Earth. We remember what you did to Mars. We remember every human world you destroyed. And now, we are coming for you." Supreme Admiral Vorthok stared at the screens in horror. Hundreds of thousands of humans, maybe millions, all of them alive, all of them angry. "Impossible," he whispered. Jake's ship appeared on Vorthok's main screen. The human captain looked directly into the alien admiral's eyes. "Nothing is impossible when you are human," Jake said. "We are the species that survived ice ages, and plagues, and wars, and extinction events. Did you really think a few alien empires could finish us off?" Vorthok reached for his weapons controls, but it was too late. Jake's ship had already fired its final missile. This one was filled with explosives. The enemy flagship's bridge erupted in flames, with their command ship destroyed and their communications in chaos. The hegemony fleet began to retreat. Some alien captains tried to continue fighting, but their crews were too frightened. The humans had done something impossible. They had turned the galaxy's greatest military force into a panicked mob. Jake watched the alien ships flee into hyperspace. 2,000 ships had come to destroy humanity's last colony. Less than half of them would make it home. Arya, open a channel to all human colonies. Channel open, Captain. Jake's voice carried 2 hidden human settlements throughout the galaxy. 2 underground cities and secret bases, and forgotten mining stations. To hundreds of thousands of humans who had spent centuries waiting for this moment. This is Captain Jake Morrison. The hegemony knows we exist now. There is no more hiding, no more waiting. It is time to take back our galaxy. The response was immediate. From every corner of space, human ships began emerging from their hiding places. Vessels that had been concealed for centuries suddenly appeared on scanners throughout hegemony territory. The aliens had spent 300 years believing they controlled the galaxy. Now they learned that humans had been living among them all along, watching, learning, preparing. Within hours, human forces launched coordinated attacks on hegemony installations across dozens of star systems. Not random raids, but precisely planned military operations designed to cripple the alien empire's ability to respond. Jake stood on the bridge of his ship and watched the tactical displays. Green dots representing human forces appeared throughout the galaxy like stars coming out at twilight. Lisa, he said, what do you think the aliens are feeling right now? Lisa smiled. After 43 years of captivity, she was finally free. Her people were finally free. Fear, she said. For the first time in 3 centuries, the hegemony is afraid. Jake nodded. Fear was a powerful weapon. The aliens had forgotten what it felt like to be hunted. They were about to remember. Commander Stone, Jake said. What are your orders? Alex looked at the galaxy map on his screen. Red dots marked hegemony strongholds. Green dots marked human forces moving to attack them. We finish what they started, Alex said. We show the galaxy what happens when you try to make humans extinct. Jake Morrison had been asleep for 800 years. He had awakened to find his species nearly destroyed and his enemies ruling the stars. But he was human, and humans did not stay down when knocked down. They got back up. They fought back. They never gave up, no matter how impossible the odds. The frozen human had awakened. He had found his people. He had given them hope, and now, nothing in the galaxy was going to stop them. The age of the hegemony was over. The age of humanity had begun again, and this time, the humans were going to make sure it lasted forever.